Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today we are here to do a 4K review of the new release of Silent Night, Deadly Night on 4K. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so Silent Night, Deadly Night on 4K. Man, I was excited to get this. This is the 40th anniversary edition that Scream Factory just dropped. It just got out here. I just watched it. And man, this 3-disc set is pretty awesome. I'm going to be honest, I probably have not seen this movie in 30 years. It's been 30 years, at least, since I've seen this movie. And it's been so long. Like, I remember like little bits and pieces. You know how that works. Like, but you can't put the whole thing together. You remember flashes almost like you just watched a trailer. And then as I started watching it, I started remembering about the movie. And I had not seen it in forever. And it was fun. It's a fun movie. It is kind of a little like abrupt, fast. It kind of lacks overall maybe plot or whatever. I mean, it's kind of there, but kind of not. The reasons for it's a little loose, but it doesn't matter because it's kind of like one of those movies that you turn your brain off and you just enjoy the slasher ride, the slasher goodness. And, I'm going to say, first of all, I remember this tagline, "You've made it through Halloween, now try and survive Christmas." I remember seeing this poster, or a poster like this, the poster for Silent Night, Deadly Night, in the movie rental stores. And I remember seeing the DVD, or the Blu-ray, I'll spit it out in a minute, the VHS cover. But I hadn't seen it in forever. And as soon as you put this movie in the first couple of minutes, you know what you're in for. You know what you are in for. You are in for some craziness. And it starts off, it's brutal. And we're going to talk about the specs and all that stuff here in a minute, but I want to talk about the movie first because it's always the most important thing. You know what you're in for right away. It starts out brutal. There's a guy dressed as Santa Claus. He's knocking over a convenience store, and just murders the guy over a few bucks. And then there's a crazy ass grandfather who is scarring his grandkid, with stories about evil Santa Claus. And then here is evil Santa Claus doing evil stuff. And this family and this poor kid that's scared to death get attacked by this Santa Claus. And I've never seen this has got to be like an extremely short runtime. Let me see, 85 minutes, and that counts the credits, right? I don't know if I've seen in 85 minutes an attempted assault on women like multiple times to where their shirts get ripped open and you see their boobs. Like, and it happens like 3 or 4 times in just a 80-minute period. And I'm like, and it makes a point of showing the boobs. So you got the 80s slasher boobies in there. But none of it is in a sexy way. It's not in a sexy way because of what's happening. And so you don't really get that kind of enjoyment out of it. They make sure it's there, though. You do get a short appearance by Linnea Quigley in the movie. But in the movie, the little boy, after this traumatic incident, he goes and has to live in an orphanage. He's got a sadistic nun in there that thinks the belt him to death will be the way to get him over his childhood traumas. He doesn't like Christmas. He's terrified of Christmas. He's terrified of Santa Claus. Rightly so. And then he grows up to be a good-looking dude, like 18, 19-year-old teenager, and he's out of the orphanage, and he's working hard, but he wants to be left alone. He's still got PTSD from when he was a kid. And then at one point, something happens, and he snaps and he goes on a killing spree, which really doesn't last that long. I mean, it really, like, by the time he snaps and goes on a killing spree himself, as Santa Claus, the movie doesn't have that long left. Now, there is something interesting because it mentions Halloween in here. When they're on the manhunt for him as he's on his killing spree dressed as Santa Claus, there is a moment where there is another nun who was good to him when he was a kid, and she's traveling around with the police sheriff or whatever, and they're hunting him. That whole part with her and the cop is super reminiscent to me of Donald Pleasance in Halloween with the sheriff and telling the cops about this person that they're hunting, and being sure that he's not dead and all that. Like, there was I got some very Halloween vibes from that, just that part of it, because it's like, she had spent all these years being around him, raising him. She knew what he had went through, so what he might be capable of, and all that. So it just kind of felt like that. Now, she wasn't like as crazy going on about it as Donald Pleasance gets, but it definitely had those vibes, and it definitely wanted to compare itself and take on Halloween. So it makes sense. They make the kid, though, like almost like superhuman strength that then goes away. It definitely takes some cues from Halloween. It definitely does. I had a lot of fun with it. It's got violent kills. It's got topless kills. It's got everything that you've got. A lot of Christmas vibes. It's got Christmas horror. It is a good one. A classic cult film on a awesome 3-disc set here for its 40th anniversary. And he knows when you've been naughty. Yes, he does. But let's get into it just a little bit. So, it doesn't come with a poster. It didn't have an option to come with a poster. It had an option to come with a book that also didn't come with a poster. So, it's very weird because I would have loved to have had that poster. You guys know how I am about collecting posters. But the 4K itself looks pretty damn good. It looks pretty damn good. Now, I'm going to put some footage in here as I'm talking, randomly of the 4K. The 4K looks good. All the grain, the colors, all that kind of stuff you want. It pops out. I don't know if I'm going top 10 4Ks of the year, but it's edging up there because this was old and in not great shape. So, now I didn't have the Blu-ray to compare it to. Like I said, I hadn't seen it in a long time. But it looked really good because you get a lot of that red in the Santa suit and the white against darkness, and to have that pop, and then there's scenes where there's snow. It looks really, really good. Now, there are scenes, because this has the extended cut with like the other, I think it's like a couple of minutes of footage put in, and that footage doesn't look good. That's why they did not put that on 4K. I've used this analogy a lot, and it's perfectly seen right here. When it goes from the footage that is actually good footage that can probably be restored to 4K to the inserts of the stuff that's like VHS quality or worse, it's worse. It's worse. And the camera and all this may make it look better, but it's bad. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And the analogy I always use is when you're driving in a car in the fog, and it's hard to see, your first inclination is to turn the lights brighter so that you can see more, to see better. But all that does is make it worse because now you just see way more fog. Whereas if you kept the lights on dim, they would have lit the road clearly in front of you. Now you might not have, and then you would have avoided seeing all that other. It's kind of the same thing. The reason you don't put that footage on 4K, looks bad enough on a Blu-ray. It does. So when you up it to 4K, when you bring out that restoration and you lift that restoration up in that quality, all you're going to do is continue to highlight the imperfections. You're going to see more imperfections the more you do that. So they didn't put that on 4K. They put it on the Blu-ray. I did check it out. It sticks out really, really badly. But this thing, I mean, it has Dolby Vision. It has all that stuff in it. It's presented in 1:85 ratio, but you can tell that those inserts were not there. It's something about it. It doesn't look very good. So disc 1 has the theatrical version, and it has a new audio commentary with the author of the book, Amanda Reyes, and the Hysteria Continues podcast. Again, this presented in Dolby Vision. Disc 2 is the Blu-ray. It has a theatrical version too. It has a new audio commentary that was on the 4K. It also has The Night He Came Home for Christmas, Creating Silent Night, Deadly Night. An interview with producer Scott Schneid. New In Search of Charles Seiler Jr., remembering the director of the movie. Interview with editor Michael Spence. New feature, Naughty or Nice, 40 Years of Silent Night, Deadly Night. An interview with the producers and about the longevity of the film. So it's stacked with some features, right? It's got some features. And then on the third disc, if you want to see that cut, is the unrated version. And it doesn't add a whole lot, right? It doesn't add a whole lot. And it's not, those inserts are very glaring. You can see here early on where he's talking to the guy in the store where he's working, or where the guy's talking to the woman up front. And it's cutting back and forth when they're talking from, you see on the one on Santa Claus, you see the clarity, and then when it goes to those insert shots, it's rough. It's rough, but it's there if you want to see it. So they did include it. And then there is some extra features on this version on the third Blu-ray. So you got a 3-disc set. Sleigh Bells Ring: The Story of Silent Night, Deadly Night, featuring interviews from the writer Michael Hickey, Scott Schneid again, Dennis Whitehead, Michael Spence, the composer and actor Brian Wilson. Then Oh Dear, an interview with actor Linnea Quigley. So like some of this stuff is going to be archival. Most of your new stuff is on the other. So it also includes a bunch of archival galleries and things like that. So it is pretty stacked up release here. 3-disc. And let's take a look at it real quick. I don't think there's any kind of reversible art here. No, there isn't. So it's a 3-disc set. There is your first 4K right there. The Blu-ray with the I think this is the one with the theatrical version and all the new features. And then this is the one with the unrated version with the extra stuff and mostly archival features. So it's a nice 3-disc set. Where I get a little irritated is I feel like, because this is the same price as Hush, which I also reviewed. Hush and this are the same price. Hush is a 4-disc set with 2 4Ks and just boatloads of new features, a never-before seen version of the film on 4K, all worked with the director. It comes with the 4 discs, all those features, 2 slip covers, and 2 posters. It's the same price as this for this by itself, which is just 1 4K disc, 2 Blu-rays. Does have some nice new features and some archival stuff. But I think I got Hush sitting over here. This has a 4K, like 2 4K movies on it and all kinds of new features and all the extras. And it's the same price. So this one needs to be lower or it needs to offer the same stuff with it. Plain and simple. So that is a knock. But there is no knock on the 4K restoration itself. It is a brand new 4K restoration. And Screen Factory doesn't miss, really, y'all. Screen Factory, Shout Studios, they don't miss when they restore their 4Ks. They look great. I would have to go back and see, but I think this is a contender to be in the top 10. it's definitely in the top 10 of Scream Factories that I've seen this year. Will it be in the top 10 of the second half of the year overall from all the boutiques? It has a chance. Will it be in my top 10 for the whole year? I don't know about that, but it is a really nice looking 4K. From the elements that they have to work with, you got to remember that. So it is a really good 4K. It's a lot of fun, this movie. And I mean, it just like ends so abruptly, too. It's like running to the climax. Boom, movie's over. But it is a good movie. We'll see how it shakes out at the end. I highly recommend it. If you're a fan, and this is the time of year you want those Christmas horror movies, I'm going to do a whole Christmas horror movie list. Scream Factory don't miss with their 4Ks, y'all. There's a lot to complain about. I think that this should be about $24.99. If it's going to be $34.99 for both of these, and this one has 2 4K discs, a 4-disc set, 2 slips, 2 posters. This shouldn't be the same price with 1 4K and 2 Blu-rays and nothing else with it except for the regular slip. This one should be $7 less than this one at least. This should be like $24.99, really. $24.99, $27.99. That's what it should be in my opinion. But there is no knocking the quality or the fun, the quality of the 4K restoration or the fun of this. I had a lot of fun watching it. I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to watch it with my son. He's a horror movie fan. We're going to check this one out together. Fast 85 minutes. You're in and out of it. I highly recommend. Most of you have probably seen it, but the 4K is worth the money. If you had the Blu-ray, I don't have the Blu-ray to compare it to. You could decide yourself. But I do think it's pushing. It's in the top 10 of Scream Factory 4Ks this year that I have seen. I haven't seen them all. It's pushing to be in the top 10 of the second half of the year. So it is up there at that level. It's not reference quality, but it is a damn good 4K and another winner from Scream Factory here. And I highly recommend Silent Night, Deadly Night. And that is what I got for you today. Let me know, did you pick it up? Are you going to pick it up? I keep links in Amazon to Amazon down below. Now, you can get this still straight from Scream Factory. You can also get it on Amazon. I keep the links to Amazon down below. If you use any of those links and you go to Amazon, anything you get there helps out the channel. If you use that link, anything you there get you a movie, get you a TV, all of it, it helps out the channel. And if you want to help the channel even more, you can like and subscribe. Or you can join and become a AV Pop Culture family member, a channel member down below at my Patreon or right here on YouTube, and get your name and lights on every single video, behind the scenes, members only videos, unboxings, all kinds of stuff, behind the scenes of my filmmaking, short films I've done, all kinds of good stuff. And it really does help out the channel. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture. And we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
I know.